It's Campbell on the road tonight at Sevierville against the Sevier County Smoky Bears. Jim Freeman along with the head coach of the Cougars, Coach Justin Price. Coach, you've had a bit of a different off week this year with fall break.
Yeah, we were able to, anytime it time's up where your fall break and your bye weeks are the same, you're able to take some time off. And this year we took even more time off than we typically do. And so it was a good time to just kind of refresh and, get away from football for a little bit. I had a JV game last Monday, and Hensley threw a couple of days with a few players, but I thought that it was just a good time to kind of reset, and we got some big games coming up. We know that, and just kind of refresh, but also understand that doesn't mean it's over, and we still got a lot of football left and a lot of big games coming up.
Of course, I can remember as a high schooler, we would do some things like that in sports, and it would kind of rekindle that desire, that hunger to get back out and play. Has that been the result this week, you think?
Yeah, I think so. We've had a good week. It's been a little colder this week than before fall break, but it's I think so. I think our focus has been good, and we got some players to understand what we're playing for at this point of the season, and understand that we want to finish this thing well. However many more weeks that we have, you can always get better and improve, and we know that. And so it's been a good week of practice. Obviously, we got a tough challenge this week, but it's been a good week of preparation.
Your Cougars have had games in the 30s, 40s, 50s this season. This Sevier County team is averaging 16 points a game. You're playing a team that doesn't put up a lot of points, doesn't give up many points, 13 points per game.
Yeah, their defense is really good. When you look at their defense and their scores, they've not had a lot of people score on them. I think West scored quite a bit on them, but West is really talented and really good this year. But Sevier County has a really good defense. Offensively, we watch them on film. They have the ability to score points. They're not scoring as many, and I don't know if maybe they want to keep it low scoring or try to control the clock. Whatever their philosophy is, they've won a lot of games doing it that way this year, and so it's going to be a challenge, offensively, defensively for us. We know that Sevier County is well coached and they have some really good players.
Sevier County, 6 wins, a couple of losses, 2-2 in their region. This team has won a game by 1 point, one game by 6 points, 2 games by 7 points. They lost last week by a common opponent, Heritage. That was kind of an interesting score. 16-13, they fell at Heritage. That's a team that you matched up with earlier in the season. Any thoughts about that? You probably were saying it doesn't matter, but one common opponent.
Well, that's one of the films that we have, and we were able to watch that game. And, so I kind of watched it live while it was happening just to kind of see what it looked like. And, Heritage is continuing to improve. They were a tough challenge for us. And, Sevier County did some really good things, and that was one of those games where it could have went either way. Sevier County had some opportunities to put more points on the board, being whether it's driving the field and just didn't manage to get in the end zone. And so I think that was 2 evenly matched teams. Obviously we played Heritage earlier in the year, so those common opponents sometimes are good to look at, but a lot of times it's such a it's all about matchups and what are our strengths compared to their strengths and weaknesses compared to their weaknesses. And so it was good to see that film because we kind of know what we've seen Heritage in person, and so got to play with them, so you kind of see some things that can benefit you, but also you see some things that they were able to do against Heritage that going to make them tough.
You always say, of course, we'll take what their defense gives us. What do you think the defense might give you tonight and what you've seen so far about Sevier County?
Well, I think they have a really talented linebacker, number 43. He played last year and was really good against us last year, and he's one of the top linebackers I feel like in the area. Has a lot of tackles and been playing there for a couple years, and so he will be definitely a challenge for us. We need to know where he's at, make sure we can block him and things like that. But I do think when you look at their scores, they've been pretty good against the run, and obviously watching on film, we feel like that's what their strength is. As far as throwing the football, that's kind of our strength, especially this season. And, so we want to try to, just to see how well they do that. But at the same time, if they come out in something to take away our passing game, we need to be able to be balanced. And that doesn't mean you call as many passes and runs, but it's be able to take what they give you. If you're able to run the football, we need to be able to do that. If they're giving us stuff in the throw game, we got to take advantage of that. So it's a good defense that will challenge us, but we'll see how we match up with them.
What do you think about your offense? Correct that. What do you think about your defense matching up with the Sevier County offense?
Well, again, you look at their offense; they've not scored as many points. I feel like they had a different quarterback earlier in the year than they do now, and the quarterback they're playing now is athletic. He had some big runs against Heritage. Throws it well enough where you got to honor and you got to respect that. And and they have some running backs that run really hard. And I think the key for a team like that, they're low scoring. You want to try to get them off the field. Give our offense more reps and more opportunities to score points. But our defense has continued to improve. Sometimes you look at the stats and you may not see it, but we've seen some stuff on film that I feel like our defense is playing better and going to continue to play better. So they'll be challenged, but I also think our defense will be ready for them tonight.
This is a program, at least in my mind, that is maybe a little bit like ours. Steve Brewer came to Sevier County and really turned the program around. It's not been the same since. He's no longer there, obviously retired. I feel like you and your brother have come to Campbell County and have done much the same. Would you see that a comparison there?
Well, it's humbling for you to say that, and I appreciate it, Jim. But, I don't know too much about Sevier County prior to Brewer being there. But, they've won a state championship in the late 90s and were in the state championship game just a few years ago. And, they've had some really talented players. The quarterback they had last year was really good. And, so it's a program that is very consistent now. I think every year, anytime you're going to play Sevier County, that it's going to be a tough challenge. And, it's like most schools can't win it every year or make it to the state championship game every year. But, they've done a good job, and I'm sure that started with Coach Brewer, and then Coach Loveday now is doing a really good job of continuing the success that they've had.
Your team with basically a week away from action last week. We're at Game 9, always some bumps and bruises at this stage of the year. Do you think your team is in pretty good shape health-wise?
Yeah, I do. I mean, obviously every week you're battling certain things, but, I think the key is this, it doesn't change that you want to improve every week, but it's sometimes these younger players that were playing early, by the time you get later in the year, they're just playing with more confidence and being ready when their opportunity comes. And as we finish this season out, you're going to see some hope. There may be somebody that's not been counted on much because somebody gets hurt, and we got to be ready to go. And we've had some players step up and fill some voids that we've had this season. And so I feel like we're ready to go. Whoever is out there just going to just play their best.
Absolutely. Coach, we wish you well tonight against Sevier County. Have fun. See you after the game, okay?
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Head Coach Justin Price and his Cougars set to take on the Sevier County Smoky Bears. Stay tuned for the kickoff here on the WLAF Nolan's Tire Shop Sports Network.